Hello, everyone. Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment as well. Let's go take a trip to Vancouver and the Canucks, and they seem to love the drama. They do it. They do every year. Every year, Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin want to change their mix-up. Seems like every year they want to do it, right? Last year, it was Brock Besser. He's going to be gone. We want to change our mix. We're looking for a second-line center. And don't forget, they're still looking for a second-line center. They traded JT Miller last year. They got Filipino in return, but he's not a second line center because he's always hurt, and you feel bad for Filipino, so best wishes to him. But the year before that, Elias Pettersson wasn't going to extend, but then he does extend. Tyler Myers wasn't going to extend, but then he extends. JT Miller before the trade last year, a couple seasons ago, he was going to get traded, and then he extends. It's a complete mess out in Vancouver. Management's to blame for it. It's just crazy because every year somebody's in the rumor mill and nothing ends up happening, or it goes in a complete opposite direction. As I've been writing for on NHLRumors.com as well as other places. I mean, Canucks are going to Canuck. It's like Manny being Manny with the Boston Red Sox. You have no idea what the Canucks are going to do because if you think you do, they do the complete opposite. As Jim Rutherford said, if this team goes down on a rebuild, you could pack the bags right now because Quinn Hughes isn't going to stay around for it. And oh, by the way, there's that. They're trying to balance winning, keeping Quinn Hughes, maybe extending Quinn Hughes. Do teams trade for Quinn Hughes now? But do they have, if they do trade for him now or before the Olympics, is it a wink, wink, nudge, nudge? I'm going to sign with you right away. Because would teams really give up all those assets to get him now? Just for 2 playoff runs with the potential of not having him re-signed. So now we're going to go through a Quinn Hughes trade rumors again next year. I think a lot of people are going to avoid what happened with the Carolina Hurricanes and Mikko Rantanen. Again, you want to win. I get it. But it just, again, Vancouver's an odd bird. They've been an odd bird since Jim Benning's been there. Look, we all know that Roberto Luongo and Corey Schneider mess. They trade Schneider, then they trade Luongo. Then they had no goalies. Then they draft Thatcher Demko. And if he could ever stay healthy and get back to bubble Demko levels, the Canucks will be fine. Heck, they got to the second round in 2024, Game 7 against the Edmonton Oilers. Like, Arthur Sivas was their goaltender. It's pretty much the same guys that are there. Connor Garland, the Brock Bessers, all those guys are there. But they just can't get it together. New head coach Adam Foote. Again, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. But Jim Rutherford brings this on himself because once again, he goes to the media and says, hey, we're open for business. I'm going to send a note like Chris Drury did to the rest of the GMs. He just didn't name names. Drury named names last year. Everybody knows that. This time he's like, all my veterans, not just UFAs. But if you go down the list of all the veterans, outside of Connor Garland, who doesn't have any trade protection this year, but his trade protection next year kicks in. Evander Kane has a 16-team no trade. Does anybody really want him? Not really. Quinn Hughes, he's not going anywhere. Teams aren't going to, Vancouver doesn't want to trade him. They want to extend him. And would anybody be shocked if he decides to stay for 2-3 years at a similar price to Connor McDavid to give this team a chance to turn it around? Because everybody assumes he's going to go to New Jersey or Detroit or wherever. There is a possibility he stays. Like I said before, the Canucks do the opposite of what everybody thinks they're going to do because that's who they are. So if you go down the guys that have trade protection, Jake DeBrusk, no move clause. Thatcher Demko, no move clause. Elias Pettersson, no move clause. Brock Besser, no move clause. Philip Hronik, no move clause. Where are these guys going? And the Thatcher Demko one didn't make sense. 3-year extension. And Kevin Lankinen has a no move clause either. So, I mean, the goaltending is what it is right now in Vancouver. And Kevin Lankinen, all the best to you. You stepped away from the team right now, personal reasons, all the best. But if you look at the guys that really don't have any trade protection, it's the UFAs, Teddy Bluger, David Kampf, who they just got off of waivers, Derek Forbort, and Kiefer Sherwood. Kiefer Sherwood's a guy they maybe want to re-sign. And teams will give them a package for Kiefer Sherwood. So all these veterans that they want to move, they can't really move. And according to Dave Pagnotta, a lot of these guys, all these agents are like, yeah, they're not going anywhere. Quinn Hughes right now is committed to staying with the Vancouver Canucks. That's what he wants to do. We'll find out his decision July 1st. Part of me really thinks he is going to stay there. Maybe he waits this thing out. Again, like with a JT Miller trade or an Elias Pettersson trade, Quinn Hughes trade, Vancouver Canucks are not winning it. You're not getting a franchise generational talent defenseman back in return. You're just not. And these teams are afraid to do these rebuilds or end up like the Buffalo Sabres. So what is the Canucks going to do? There's not a lot they can do. They have to play better on the ice. Maybe they will. But Vancouver is just going to do what Vancouver always does. This is a kick in the pants for some of these guys to play better. What moves they make, we know they're aggressive. They got Marcus Pettersson last year from Pittsburgh Penguins with that first they got from the Rangers. They extended him, gave him a no-move clause, too. Everybody's got no-move clauses like it's candy out in Vancouver. So they really can't do anything. We'll see what they do. But the Edmonton Oilers, they need goaltending. They also need defense. Goaltending is just horrible. Stuart Skinner hasn't been playing well. Neither is Calvin Pickard. But they got to a Stanley Cup final back-to-back years. But if their goaltending was better, maybe they win a cup. But we know they can play defense because they've done it before. Because Connor McDavid kept saying, guys, you got to stop talking about us defensively. But they can't play D. Let's see what they do with their goaltending. They've been linked to Jordan Binnington. They've been linked to Tristan Jarry, Laurent Brossoit, Elvis Merzlikins, UC Saros. The issue with Binnington, 14-team no trade, the Oilers are on the list. If he's going there, the Oilers are going to want, well, at least the Blues are going to want something in return. The Oilers don't really have the depth to give up anymore because as of, July 1st, 2024, there was no GM. There's Jeff Jackson. The guys he signed, like the Jeff Skinners, the Arvidssons, the Perrys, guys like that, they're gone. Oh, yeah, the offer sheets to Broberg and Holloway, they never matched. Stan Bowman comes in. He didn't really know who those guys were. So what are they doing? Well, it's interesting to find out that the Canucks messed up their goaltending while the Oilers messed up their defense and young players. Holloway and Broberg are exactly what the Oilers need now, and they don't have it. And they don't have the cap space because of the contracts for Darnell Nurse, Evan Bouchard, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl. So if they try to trade for a goalie, they're going to give up more depth that they don't have, and they may not be a playoff team. That doesn't work, but at some point, they're going to have to change the goaltending. Connor Ingram, an option. Stan Bowman has always said what he has been better. He's not going to trade for injured guys. John Gibson, obviously, it's not working out. In Detroit, again, Steve Yzerman 0 for 3 with goaltending. That was never an option. Can you find your Spencer Knight type goaltender somewhere? Again, Chicago gave up a defenseman that the Florida Panthers needed. The cap space has got to work out for one of these goaltenders for the Edmonton Oilers. And again, it doesn't matter who they bring in as a goaltender. They got to play better defense. Can't just rely on the goaltender because it's going to be the same problems. Like Brad Treliving said with the Leafs, he can change out 5 guys all he wants. He brings in 5 new guys and they don't play better. Same result. Same result with a new goalie. Going to be interesting to see what happens in Edmonton. Same with Calgary. Don Maloney came out, made some statements this week. Craig Conroy has a new extension. They were waiting to announce it, but Maloney, poured gasoline on an already burning fire in Calgary. Talking about how, well, you're going to play fantasy hockey if you wish to finish in the top 5. Problem is the Flames haven't had a top 10 NHL draft pick since Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett, both of whom are the Florida Panthers, both of whom were traded to the Florida Panthers, both of whom won Stanley Cups. Jonathan Huberdeau is nice. Nazem Kadri is pretty good too, but they need more. They need a Gavin McKenna, but the philosophy inside the Flames little regime management group and ownership is murky middle is okay. Well, they got to be competitive. They want to be a playoff team. They want to keep all these guys, but teams keep calling on these guys. So who knows what the Flames are going to do. But it's interesting that Conroy has a 2-year extension, gets him to the new building. But all the deals Conroy did in the 2022-23 season, heading into the 2023-24 season, and also those deals in that season, he orchestrated, not Dom Maloney. So who's the real problem there? Yeah, it's nice that he got a contract extension, but he's got 2 years to do something. And if they don't want to tear it down and rebuild, well, then Conroy can't do anything. His hands are tied. And again, teams don't want to be the Buffalo Sabres, but the Flames haven't been the same since they lost to the Oilers in the playoffs. So are they already Buffalo? We'll see what happens there. Also, there's the Sharks, Ducks, Canadians, Blackhawks, good examples of rebuilds gone right. So you could do that if you have a little bit of suffering. The fans want it in Calgary. So it is the right decision. But again, it starts with, when does Rasmus Andersson get traded? Who else goes? But again, there was a package for Andersson in the summer. They didn't move him. Maybe it was Dom Maloney that said no. We're never going to find that out. But teams are looking. There's a lot of chatter, no action. Maybe we need a little less talk and more action, Toby Keith. Prices are too high. Braden Shannon, St. Louis. Doug Armstrong's threatening to trade everybody, but prices are high. Barry Trotz says all options are on the table in Nashville. But the price tag for Ryan O'Reilly, as I reported last year with RG Media, was that he was asking the Devils for Simone Nemec, Dawson Mercer in the first. Well, now we have Pierre LeBrun saying that they want a high-level prospect and a first. Yeah, prices are high. Teams don't want to pay for a 34-year-old second-line center that much to give up. Maybe if Barry Trotz kept the guys that he didn't give away, the Predators would be in a better situation. But we'll see how the world turns as we head into the weekend. Vancouver, Nashville, what are we doing? Edmonton, can you get a goalie? Calgary, what's your direction? And we'll see if anybody makes a trade before Christmas and the holiday freeze. Jim Biringer, NHLRumors.com. Like, subscribe, comment. Take care, and we'll be back